Jeff Slauson here from 19 News Now at the 19 News digital desk. We are going to be showing you some video courtesy of the Summit County Sheriff's Office. This following a riot that took place on Christmas Day at a juvenile detention facility. This video is honestly pretty crazy to look at here. 7 juveniles in total were involved in this. One of them, the ringleader, was 18-year-old Jameer Jones, an inmate at this facility, managed to escape, then got his friends out, all of them in the same cell block. They then ransacked basically the entire cell block. Officers tried to come in and intervene, and they attacked the officers. So let's start with the first video that we have here. This is just initially when they get out. So let's start here with this one. There we go. So you will notice, first of all, no audio. I'll be talking over the entire thing. Top right-hand portion of the screen, you will see all of them freshly out of their cells, and immediately they start to ransack the place. Now, the windows that they're looking out to, that's closer to where a lot of the guards are and more of the inmates are in the rest of the jail. You will see now them start to throw chairs, tables. Look at this. Just really starting to ransack the entire cell area. Again, this is just video one of multiple videos that we're going to look at here. We got 4 in total there. All right, so now let's go to number 2. This is when officers arrive on scene. You will see there, I'm going to get rid of the bottom portion of the screen. An officer trying to subdue, there's 4 that we're seeing there, but in total there were 7 involved. And watch this. Takes that officer to the ground, start punching and kicking the other officer, and eventually they're able to get that officer up and out of the way. The other one kind of hangs around a little bit, but there are a bunch of chairs in this area as well. They start to throw them at the officers. All right, here we go. Ready? Yeah, just pure chaos in this situation here. All right, let's go to the next piece of video here. This is when the officers have left the situation, I believe, and they start to throw around papers and ransack it even more. Just any opportunity, it seems. Now, the main suspect, again, in this is Jameer Jones. He's the one who initially threw the officer to the ground in the previous clip. I will play that again for you. But he's the one who kind of led that and led the rioting as well. He has since been moved to a different facility and has some pretty clear restrictions on him because of the danger that he poses to himself, the danger that he poses to all of the officers and the inmates that he's with as well. So a troubled individual that basically is put into confinement to make sure that he doesn't hurt anybody else. So you'll see there, they kind of congregate again, more toward that window, banging on the glass, throwing things at the glass. They threw radios, they were throwing televisions, they were throwing chairs and tables. I mean, tons of stuff here. All right, let's go to the next piece of video here. This is going to be the last one I'll show you. This is when officers are able to finally subdue them. So you will see they're all kind of congregating toward one side, mulling around a little bit. Now, off camera, the officers are slowly starting to approach that window that we were looking at earlier. This is when all 4 of them see they're in riot gear. This is when they get down, and then ultimately the officers finally arrive. You'll see once they stop moving, there we go. I believe it's 11 total officers that officially respond to the 4 of them that have been ransacking the place. I mean, look at the response to this. Yeah, 11 is ultimately what I counted. They're able to finally get this under control, and it ultimately does end. Here's the thing. The main culprit that they say in this had to be removed from the juvenile detention facility, 18 years old, so now could be tried as an adult, is charged with assault, simple assault in this situation, for the acts of the actual, the assault that you see in the beginning. Here is that person. This is 18-year-old Jameer Jones. Again, this is a person who led that riot that took place in the videos that you're seeing there. Jameer Jones, we don't know why he was initially in there, but we do know, again, that he kind of led all of that rioting that we saw previously. all of that rioting that ultimately led to a lockdown in that portion of the jail. Let's go back to the first video here. Again, we're going to walk through these for the next 10 minutes or so. This is when they first get out. Now, I'm showing you in its entirety. I only zoomed in on these. I didn't cut these at all. If you notice, there's a little bit of a fisheye lens to this. That's the way that they gave us the video. But I didn't cut these. So these are the only videos that we got, the 4 videos that show the snippets of this. You will see the inmates really slowly start to go crazy on this. I mean, let's just be honest. Let's zoom back a little bit, or rewind back a little bit to show you. Walking around a little bit, you will see, again, so much attention paid to that front window, and then they start to throw things. See that there? That was a radio. They threw the radio against a clock, the clock then falling to the ground. Tons of damage done just to this area. And then you will see, look, those are officers right on the outside there. So they're mulling around watching this happen, this quote-unquote riot take place. And then you'll see one more throwing right there. That's the television that was thrown. And then, moments later, officers intervened. This is when the assault takes place. So one officer is thrown to the ground, another is beaten while on the ground as well. I mean, there's 4 of them there, and you can see 3 officers respond, so they're outnumbered. And this is where this one gets thrown to the ground. That is Jones that throws him to the ground and then starts assaulting the other one that's there as well. You can see the other 3 are involved in that. One other juvenile is expected in court on this next week. This is a true juvenile, not turning 18 or is 18, so we will not know the identity of this person. However, they are going to be in court next week, charged in relation to this incident. We also did reach out to Summit County Sheriff's Office. They declined because this is obviously an active investigation. But this one here, I mean, this one is the real, to rewind it a little bit, this is the one that shows the assault, right? You see the officer kind of go up there, start to attack and try and get them to calm down, or at least get them to the ground. And then they start attacking. They throw the one. You can see there's a punch at the 3rd one there, and a kick as well. They finally get the officers out of there, but look at all the chairs. The chairs ultimately lead to more of an assault. The one thing that's not clear, you will see that one of the inmates kind of runs away. Unsure where to, based off of the video that was provided to us. But you will see there's the 3 at least right there on the left-hand side, and they're all throwing chairs. And then ultimately it ends with this. They're walking around, mulling around, still throwing stuff, and they quickly turn around because they see all of the officers that are gathering in the front. They know where this is headed. You see as soon as he turns around, yeah. And then they get to the ground. Now, we did not get, again, no audio, and only these shots are the ones that were provided to us. Nothing more in that, but we do at least have the mugshot, which is the individual I'm going to show you as soon as we take a look at this portion right here, which, again, shows ultimately the arrest in this. Now, I mentioned how there are restrictions on this individual here. That's Jameer Jones. I'm going to read those restrictions to them now in their new, after they've been located. They will be placed in what is called administrative segregation. They say that due to the propensity for violence, particularly against staff, he's going to be on a 2-man escort anytime he is off the pod or basically taken out of his cell. Additionally, he must be belly chained when he leaves the cell for any reason. When he is on his time out of the cell, 2 deputies must be on the pod, so basically anywhere around him, with at least one with a taser. Finally, his cell must be shaken down at the beginning and prior to the end of each shift. This has to be done without fail. So the pod is the area where every cell is, right? So while he is there has to be a 2-man escort anytime that's around there. He has to be belly chained anytime he leaves that area. In addition to that, his cell every single day, morning and night, will be overturned to ensure he doesn't have anything he's not supposed to. Now, again, we are waiting for confirming information as to exactly how he and others got out of that facility. But you can see just how dangerous this actually was, not only for the corrections officers, but for honestly, for them as well. Let's go back to the assault here. This video is the most telling. I'll get rid of that bottom again for you there, the bottom portion of the screen. One officer goes in, tries to subdue, fails to do so. It's 2 detention officers that were assaulted in this. Unsure about their status as of right now. Unsure about the status of the inmates as far as if they sustained any injuries. But they had chairs thrown at them, they had punches thrown at them, they had kicks. An insane scenario. Again, this playing out Christmas Day last year on the 25th at the corrections facility in Summit County. See the chair throw happens there. And again, the one that is believed to be responsible or is accused of being responsible in this, who you're seeing on your screen right now, Jameer Jones, has been moved from the facility. He has been charged ultimately with assault in this as well, charged as an adult, obviously, given his age, which is now 18 years old. This was simple assault is what has been submitted, and that was 3 days ago is when the charges were ultimately levied. Trying to think if there's anything else that I'm missing here, but I do not believe there is. I'll show the videos one more time for those that are just jumping onto our digital stream here. I'm going to start with the beginning of the riot. You will notice kind of a gathering around the front area. That is where all of the officers are. That is where the main area is. So they're gathered in that portion. You will see then begins the riot. Throws something that hits, we believe that was the radio, hits the clock, destroys the clock, start to overturn chairs, overturn tables. A television is thrown at some point, which you will see in the end of this. One of the inmates starts to run away from here and kind of like through the screen. As soon as they do that, then you will see, again, there's a fisheye lens, so this is why this looks a little different. There, right there, that's a television that's thrown. So let's go now to the second clip here. This here is when officers try to intervene. There's 3 of them to 4 inmates in this. Ultimately, 7 inmates were involved. And you will see this is where the assault takes place. One thrown to the ground, the other trying to assist, ultimately gets assaulted as well. They finally get them up, and then the chairs start flying. And they start right here. All right, let's go to the third one here. This is the extension of the riot. So the officers got assaulted. They left, most likely to get more backup or to potentially get more riot gear, things like that. And then this is when more of the ransacking takes place. You will see officers kind of hanging around in the background there. We're still waiting to get, again, more confirming information. We just got this today into our newsroom. And then let's just go to this last one, which is ultimately all of these individuals being taken down. Well, they go down on the ground on their own, but then the officers ultimately respond. The best quality we can get out of these videos, again, it's a fisheye lens that they're provided to us. And then here we go, 11 officers ultimately respond to this. Again, we reached out to the Summit County Sheriff's Office for response. They say it is an active investigation. They will not be providing one at this time. And in addition to Jameer Jones, one other juvenile that was involved in this is being arraigned, or at least going to be seen in front of a judge in a couple of days here related to this. Jameer Jones was charged with assault. We can wonder exactly what the charges will be, but you can guess it's probably something similar given the situation that took place. All right, and that is it for our coverage here on 19 News of this situation. Of course, we'll have much more to come, both on air and online. I will have a full breakdown tonight, 19 News at 9, 10, and 11, so we'll see you there. For now, I'm Jeff Slauson with 19 News. Have a great night. Much more to come in a little bit.